Taiwanese and Chinese police have cracked phone fraud rings across Asia, arresting nearly 600 suspects. The mostly Taiwanese and Chinese suspects were discovered across 6 countries, with many being deported back to their home country via chartered planes. Chito Santos has this report.
Relations between Taiwan and China haven't always been great, but this time the two nations have worked together in a joint operation that has nabbed 598 phone fraud suspects. Liao Jinrong, Deputy Director of China's Criminal Investigation Department, praised police from both sides of the Taiwan Strait for their cooperative efforts. We couldn't succeed in this action without the close cooperation between the police in mainland China and Taiwan, he says. Police across the strait have for many times consulted, communicated and coordinated with each other on this case. Police planned and investigated for 3 months before taking action, with arrests being made in Taiwan, China, Cambodia, Indonesia, Malaysia and Thailand. Dr. Mark Gregory, a senior lecturer in network engineering at RMIT University, says telephone fraud is an ongoing problem across Asia.
It's really become a big business now, with billions of dollars of fraud occurring annually.
The suspects mainly targeted people in China and Taiwan, placing phone calls over the internet to try and scam money out of their victims. They would use the internet phone services to make their calls appear as if they came from another country, adding to the scam's effect.
So you're generally looking at fraud that gives an instant hit, an instant way to get access to the victim's funds. This is the interesting nature of the frauds and crime that has been happening around the world, is that you find these boiler room tactics being set up in different geographic areas, using people that people in those areas would be comfortable to hear from. So therefore in Southeast Asia, people would be comfortable to hear from people that can speak the local languages, have accents that match the local geographic areas. So they're using people that the victims are going to be happy to hear from.
One scam involves luring victims to make purchases for products that don't exist. Another scam has the caller pose as a bank or government official, requesting banking details or transfers of funds. Fraudsters have been forced to move to other countries to carry out their activities due to crackdowns in China and Taiwan. Criminals would rent out apartments with internet connections and use them to place hundreds or even thousands of calls per day. Dr. Gregory believes the efforts by police won't have much effect on phone fraud in the region.
The recent arrests that have been made across Southeast Asia is really a drop in the ocean. People behind these activities will very quickly reconstitute these boiler rooms and continue on.
The operation marks the first time Taiwan and China have worked together with other Southeast Asian countries to fight crime. Wang Cho-chun, head of Taiwan's National Police Agency, told Taiwanese press the operation has set a new trend in joint crime fighting. Chih-chen, president of Taiwanese think tank Taiwan Brain Trust, says the diplomatic effort is a step in the right direction.
But actually, I think all the countries in the region realize that it's important and it's very imperative for all the countries to cooperate on crime fighting. So it's not just one-sided approach. I think it's a bilateral cooperation or even multilateral cooperation among all the nations in the region.
Taiwan and China signed an agreement in 2009 to better work together to fight crime. Mr. Low thinks this trend will continue.
There's a need for both sides to cooperate on fighting these kind of crimes. So I think this cooperation will continue as long as both sides realize that it helps both sides to have this kind of cooperation continue.
That's Chih-chen from the Taiwan Brain Trust. Ending that report from Chito Santos.